Welcome to another episode of Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick, and as always, we like to talk about things related to business continuity, emergency management, crisis management, COVID, well-being, anything that helps you, your organization, or your community prepare for, respond to, and overcome adverse situations. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please feel free. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Alex Fullick there. I'm really easy to find, and I do respond to everything I get. Today, we are going to be talking about business continuity management systems in the banking sector of Saudi Arabia. And I want to welcome to the show today, Khaled Altawily. Khaled, welcome.
Thank you, Alex, for having me. It is a pleasure to be in your show.
Now, I know we've exchanged little bits of information, so I know a little bit about yourself, but because we've got people listening and watching literally around the globe, can you take a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got into what you do?
Well, let me start. My name is Khaled Altawily. I'm from Saudi Arabia, and I worked in the banking sector since 2000, so it's almost 22,000 now in the field. I joined the business continuity world in around 2011. And since then, I got a lot of passion about this world. I found it very interesting to meet people and understand what they are doing in the different field. Previous to that, I was stuck within the operation for around 10 years. So the only people that I know is my front office and my colleague in the back office. And I found the business continuity a very great exposure to know people from treasury, compliance, marketing, retail, corporate banking, and all the entire organization. Since then, I got certified from the Disaster Recovery Institute, as well as the Business Continuity Institute in UK and PECP, and I got some certification. And finally, that was all of this efforts crowned with the award from the DRI as one of the best CBCP in 2020, sorry. Currently, I'm holding the position of Director of Business Continuity and Crisis Management in Rajhi Bank, one of the leading Islamic banking in the world.
Well, great to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It is my pleasure.
And as I say, we're going to be talking about what you do, business continuity in the banking sector. So why don't we jump to our first topic? And the first thing we're going to talk about are business continuity management systems and risk tools. Can you tell us about that?
Well, during the last 7 years, I have participated in implementing the business continuity management system in 3 different organizations. And from that experience and from implementing end-to-end business continuity activity, I found that one of the succession factors of the business continuity is utilizing the correct risk tools, considering the right risk appetite statement, risk impact scale, and the risk heat map, and all of these tools, including the risk register and how we are tracking the actions assigned from the Business Continuity Management Committee or the Disaster Recovery Committee, or the other actions related to validation from test or from the program in general. So I noticed that some people are not utilizing the correct tool, including myself. In one of the phases in my career, I found that I was utilizing, let's say, the risk impact scale in not in the best way. And then I try to read about it. I start to engage with the risk people to understand how they design the risk appetite, how they design the risk impact scale, how they define the thresholds. So even for what we are measuring as a business continuity professional, when we measure the impact from financial perspective or the category related to the reputation category or the operational category, I sit with them to understand how they define it. And I try to challenge as much as I can. And I saw how complex it is before they go with a recommendation to take the pleasant from the board of director or the highest management. So now what I advise all of my colleagues always to not ignore this piece and to understand exactly what is within the risk appetite, how the risk threshold is being defined, and is it relevant to the business continuity, or they are developed to focus on operational risk aspect or market risk aspect or other aspects.
I like how you were just talking about approaching the people in where I am right now and who I'm helping with. They call it Enterprise Risk Management Group. So yeah. I know you may call it something different, so I'll just say risk management for now, but I think we kind of mean the same groups.
Yep.
And it's really interesting to understand some of the risks that are on their registry are not the same ones that you and I might write when it comes to disasters, fires, floods, tornadoes, those kind of things. That doesn't appear on their risk registry. So I really like what you had to say about approaching them so that you can align how you're measuring and bringing those two together, because you can help establish what business continuity is doing to help mitigate some of those risks that are on their register. And as you said, ending up in front of the board.
Yeah. Well, maybe one of the challenges that we notice during such conversations is the definitions and what people understand. I may call this as water bottle, and you may call it as a glass of water. So aligning the definitions and having the same understanding will help both of us to achieve the best results that we can do. So maybe one of the challenges that we face is aligning the risk impact, what people called in technology world as high, medium, low. It could be a critical high, medium, or major critical high, or catastrophic. So definition of these and alignment between them will have better understanding and better word to talk.
What happens if we don't do that?
Well, let's take one of the examples. If an interruption happened to the business and they didn't report it on time because they thought, from their point of view, this disruption event is a medium, while it is high in my record, that will result into late respond, and we may have higher impact if we don't respond on time or by the proper way.
How do you address situations where business continuity or resilience or disaster recovery, whatever the program is called, sees something different than enterprise risk management, the group that you're trying to work with, and you're just butting heads? How do you deal with that kind of situation to find that middle ground so that everybody understands, so that your high, something you're calling high is the same thing I'm calling high, as an example?
I usually start with the definitions and trying to have a base ground that we agree on it. And then if they stick to their map, we may develop or create something to make the alignment and the mapping. So what is moderate or medium? In my word, it would equal to their low or medium. By such mapping, we will have a agreed common sense that this should be treated as a medium. So the basic is low, medium, high. The basic usually is low, medium, high. But sometimes people call the medium moderate, or call the high critical, or call it major, or call it catastrophic. So why to talk in different languages? Let's have one common language, and we have one definition. If you insist to have it as a catastrophic, let's create a mapping table to identify and link this catastrophic to the high and have it aligned.
It's interesting you just said that, because I was just thinking, what are your thoughts on having too many categories? Because I don't know about you, but I've seen people who have catastrophic, very impactful, high impactful, low impactful, moderate impact. They'll have 7 or 8 different categories, and then different amounts of impact or severity, and you end up with this massive confusing chart.
Well, that's true, and I guess this complexity is coming whenever you have a higher maturity of the program or a complex organization. As big as the organization, as big as the issues that we are facing, and the more experience that we gain. And I think people, they need to talk to each other. They need to agree on a definition. They need to agree on this. If we are not talking to each other, we will not solve the problem.
Communication.
Correct.
Yeah. Does that go for the same when you bring in groups like incident management, problem management, change management? There are others, ITDRP, crisis management. Should they also be on board with the same definitions? I know we were talking mostly about enterprise risk management and business continuity. However, when you bring in these other groups, sometimes they've got different terminology as well. So is it a good idea to bring them all together to get everyone speaking the same language?
Well, see, in my experience in one of the organizations that I work with, I saw around more than 10 different channels utilized to report incidents. And one of the recommendations is to have a centralized incident management. The problem with such approach that everything was coming through the business continuity. So I found myself engaged in every single incident, low or medium or high. Even the people, they are not differentiating between incident and ticket or service request. So if even a light is broken, they call it incident, and they don't differentiate between a service ticket and incident. Well, I guess that is also depending on the management and their risk appetite, and how they want to define what the level of the involvement of business continuity should come. So I guess it is different from organization. We can't have one size fit all for such topic, especially emergency and incident management and crisis management.
Yeah, one size fits all doesn't work. What I'm doing at my organization right now may not work for you because of our business cultures, within our organizations, size of organizations, the nature of business we're doing, all of that comes into play.
Yeah. I remember in one of the subsidiaries of one of the banks that I used to work in, that subsidiary is a brokerage house. And they utilize the same BCM auto tool to conduct the BIA and the threat assessment and the BCP and all of these things. I came to the business continuity director at that time, and I told him, dude, listen, you are measuring the impact in hours. In my world, I'm dealing with the stock, with the market, the stocks, like the Wall Street and these of
right.
You buy shares. So I need to measure the RTO in minutes, and your tool is not allowing me to measure it in minutes. The severity and the time is built on hours. So I'm not going to utilize that tool. I'm going to utilize Excel till we have a system that fit my needs.
Right. And or at least help understand each other. If we are speaking two different languages, you understand me at least.
Yes, correct.
So on that note, believe it or not, we've already come to the end of our first segment. Time flies.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're talking with Khaled Altawily today on business continuity management systems in Saudi Arabia, and we will be right back. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.